Hello everyone, and welcome back to the land of Johto. Last time we were here, I was seeing how fast I can beat Pokemon Crystal only using Meganium. This time, Typhlosion gets a run at this challenge. Much like Charizard, Typhlosion has the widest move pool of the three starters, but at the cost of being the frailest. Quick fact, Charizard and Typhlosion have the exact same stat distribution, but Charizard, among the competitive scene, is considered to be the superior fire starter due to its stat boosting moves it can learn like Sword Stance and Belly Drum, which brought about the infamous Bellizard. While the only move Typhlosion knows to boost its stats is Curse. That move raises attack and defense, but at the cost of speed. But we're not here to talk about Charizard today. Let's see how fast I can beat Pokemon Crystal only using a single Typhlosion. As per usual, I won't use any items in battle, besides Held, and any other Pokemon you see in my party are only there for HM purposes. I will be using Fly because there is a lot of backtracking in this game. And this is a speed challenge and flying is the best way to get around. Speaking of backtracking, that's exactly what we're doing right after we get our starter. We head to Route 30 so we can grab the Pokemon Egg and the Pokedex, and then we head back to New Bark Town and give it to Professor Elm. On our way, we have our first of many encounters against our rival. Since both our Pokemon are in their infancy, there isn't much to comment on. Since we are the stronger of the two, we get the easy win. Not that it matters if you win or lose here, but the experience is always welcome. Once we deliver the egg, we go to Mommy and beg her to save her money. We then head back out to Route 30. This time, we're going to breeze through it as fast as possible so we can get to Violet City for our first gym badge. There are a couple of trainers we have to take care of first, but since this is early game, they are a couple of pushovers. We take care of the trainers in Falkner's gym, it was much easier this time around, and then challenge the Birdman himself. Falkner has one thing that is different in comparison to the other gym leaders in Johto, his signature move, aka the move you get once you being said gym leader. While most moves are of a type of the gym leader's specialty, Falkner goes the opposite route, figuratively and literally. The flying type gym leader's signature is Mud Slap, a ground type attack. Not only that, if the move hits, it will lower accuracy. The move itself isn't a strong one, and it doesn't deal that much damage despite her type weakness. As long as you don't miss too often, we can defeat Falkner at around the 20-minute mark. Nothing of note happens as we travel to Azalea Town. Kurt falls down Slowpoke Well and hurts his back in front of a bunch of rocket grunts. But grunts are grunts, and they're easily disposed of. That brings us to our second gym battle against Bugsy. We are a fire type going up against a bunch of bugs. It should come as no surprise that this battle is not a challenge at all. Metapod has nothing for us. The worst thing Kakuna can do is poison us, if it were to deliver Ember attack that is, and Cypher doesn't have anything to deal with us either. We now have 2 badges in less than 40 minutes. We still have one last thing to take care of before leaving Azalea. Or rather, I should say our rival won't let us leave Azalea until we do battle. While Meganium was at a complete disadvantage in this battle, Typhlosion here fares well. Mudslap makes quick work of Ghastly. Zubat isn't a problem, as long as we don't get confused. Croconaw does no Water Gun, but this is why I challenged Bugsy first. With the level advantage, we are able to take some of the Water Guns and knock out Croconaw. Now that we can leave Azalea, we can upgrade some of our moves. Firstly, in Helix Forest, I get the TM for Headbutt, which I replace for Tackle. Headbutt has almost twice the power of Tackle, with a 1 in 5 chance of flinching the opponent. Once I'm in Goldenrod, I head to the Pokemart where I buy the TM for Fire and Thunder Punch, saying goodbye to Ember and Smokescreen. Once I grab the bike, I cycle up to National Park where I get the TM for Dig. But we're gonna wait a bit before teaching that to Typhlosion. Who's ready for more backtracking? Cause we gotta talk to this girl on Route 36 first. And she'll go back to her mother, if I remember correctly, where she will tell her about the strange tree and how the squirt bottle will anger it. But before we can receive said bottle, we need to defeat Whitney first. Seriously, why don't they give the Johto gym leaders more Johto Pokemon? Would it have killed the devs to give her a Teddy Ursa or something? Pokemon selection aside, I was a bit nervous for this one. Not because of Clefairy. Unless I get Metronome Hornjo one-shot turn 1. Miltank, of course, is the cause of my worries. We are weak to rollout this time around, and this move builds up power with every blow that lands consecutively. This is why I put off teaching Dig to Typhlosion. Yes, Dig would have broken the chain as well, but it's a 2-turn move, giving Miltank a chance to drink its milk, say its prayers, and eat its vitamins to regain its health, brother. Mudslap hits turn 1 and lowers accuracy. Plus with Headbutt, I have a chance to flinch it. This works as I defeat Whitney on my first go, winning badge 3, and it hasn't been an hour since I left home. Now we can grab the bottle and take care of that Sudowoodo. Easy enough. Things remain uneventful until we make it to Ecruteak. I defeat the Kimono 5 and get the HM for Surf. I then head to Burt Tower and come across my rival again. I would normally be worried about Curse, but luckily for me, Curse will not work if we are underground. I avoid Curse and one-shot Haunter with Dig. At this point, Typhlosion has a move that can handle just about any Pokemon type. Thunder Punch for water and flying types, Fire Punch for grass and bugs, and Dig for poison and rock types to name a few. The rest of my rival's team goes down just about as easy as Haunter did. That will lead us to our 4th gym battle against Morty. Thanks to being able to hide underground, the idea of getting cursed isn't quite as scary. The worst thing that could happen is that somehow, one of those ghosts live my attack and curse me, making Dig useless. But even if that did happen, the other moves I have can hit ghosts pretty good. So I felt confident I could hold my own if that were to happen. But the only Pokemon that took multiple hits was Gengar, and that one doesn't know Curse. It could pass us out with Hypnosis, but that's not the most accurate move. We easily get our 4th badge. Now that we've got our 4th badge, Oh, I'm sorry. Did you say you want more backtracking? Well, I thought you'd never ask. Here's what we're going to do. We're going to climb the lighthouse, fighting some of the trainers along the way, and speak to Jasmine. She'll send us to Cinderwood to grab some medicine for the Ampharos in charge of the lighthouse. On the upside, we don't have to go back right away. After we get the medicine, we can challenge Chuck for badge 5. This is the first gym that we're going into with a type disadvantage. Primeape isn't the issue. Poliwrath is. It can put us to sleep with Hypnosis, drown us with Surf, and confuse us with Dynamic Punch, which has the added bonus of hitting us really hard. On the upside, Hypnosis and Dynamic Punch have the accuracy of a Stormtrooper, and we can take one Surf assuming it doesn't crit. That works for me as Thunder Punch is a 2-hit KO. Admittedly, this one did take me a couple of attempts. At least once we've beaten Chuck, we can grab the Fly HM from his wife, where she then immediately fat shames her husband. Once we've flown back to Olivine, we can give Jasmine the medicine, which will allow her to return to her gym duties. We don't give her a minute's rest as we challenge her immediately after. We're coming in with a clear type advantage. We have Dig for Jasmine's Magnemites, who have a quad weakness to the move, and for Steelix, we have Fire Punch. Steelix's physical defense is one of the highest in the game. The same cannot be said for his special defense. Thanks to that, we can easily wipe her team and win our 6th badge. Mahogany Town is our next destination. We are here to challenge Price. But first, we need to drive Team Rocket out of town. While we have some assistance from Lance, he doesn't do too much, and honestly, his help wasn't required. We are more than capable of taking out these grunts. One of the differences between this run and the previous run with Meganium is the amount of times we had to run back to the Pokemon Center and how many potions we had to buy. It is drastically reduced in this run. Long story short, this alone has saved us several minutes of time. Another thing that saved us was our typing. Price's specialty is Ice types, which we have the type advantage against. Kinda. Yes, all Price's Pokemon are Ice type, but they also have secondary types that we do not match well against. Seal and Dewgong are part water, and Piloswine is part ground. For these water types, however, we have Thunder Punch, which is a one-shot on Seal and 2 for Dewgong. While we may be frailer in comparison to Meganium, we have a stronger power output, and our level is high enough where we can take some hits. Piloswine, luckily, doesn't know any ground type attacks. Regardless of that, it gets one-shotted by Fire Punch. Our gym challenge comes yet to another halt, as Team Rocket has now taken over the Goldenrod radio tower. Much like in Mahogany, these grunts are a challenge for me at this point, and since we don't have a type disadvantage against poison types, none of the executives proved to be a challenge either. There isn't much worth commenting on when it comes to the rival battle either during this bit. Most of his Pokemon are one-shot thanks to his team being weak to one of my attacks. Once we've disbanded Team Rocket once more, we can head to Blackthorn and challenge Claire for our final badge. For the first time, we are coming into a gym with a clear disadvantage. We do not handle dragons very well, and we can't learn any ice or dragon type attacks, and only 2 of our moves hit for neutral damage. That is until we get to Kingdra, where that goes to 3. Before that though, we have 3 Dragonairs that can wear us down, make us easy pickings for Kingdra. To start, all her Dragonairs can paralyze us with either Thunder Wave or Dragon Breath. I gave Typhlosion the Paralyze Cure Berry so it can shake it off once. On the upside, Thunder Wave won't always work. Dragon Breath does have 100% accuracy, but the process is not always guaranteed. I have to hope that I don't eat my berry too early, some of these Thunder Waves miss me, or Dragon Breath's effect doesn't kick in. Honestly, it is almost certain that I'll get paralyzed at some point during this battle. I just have to hope that I take out a couple of her Dragonairs before that happens. If my health is too low and I'm paralyzed, Kingdra will come in and finish me off with Surf. If our health is high enough, we can take 1 Surf assuming it doesn't crit. This is the first battle that took me multiple tries, but I do get the win. Pass the test and get my 8th badge at around the 3-hour mark. With nothing else to distract me, we can enter Canto for the first time and make our way to Indigo Plateau. There are only a couple of minor trainer battles we have to do before getting into Victory Road, where it's completely deserted. I grabbed the TM for Earthquake, we're gonna hold off learning that one too. Before entering the Pokemon League, I need to battle my rival once more. Much like our counter in Goldenrod, I wind up one-shotting most of his Pokemon. Once we start up on potions and full heals, we can enter the Elite Four, where we only have 5 more battles to claim the title of champion. Leading for the Elite Four is Will, the Psychic user. This one was a simple affair. Thunder Punch takes care of Xatu and Slowbro, while Fire Punch makes quick work of Jinx and Exeggutor. Koga's battle is also a quick one. Fire Punch is an easy KO on Ariados, Fortress, and Venomoth. Thunder Punch handles Crobat, and Dig buries Muck. Fun fact, did you know that Muck spelled backwards is Bruno's next? This one again was actually harder than I thought it'd be. It's amazing what a difference one generation can make. His Hitmontop knows Dig. We can counter that by digging ourselves, but then Hitmontop will use Detect on the attacking move. Since we outspeed it, I'll just use Fire Punch while it's above ground. Onix knows Earthquake, making Dig useless. It deals double the damage if the opponent is underground. In hindsight, I probably should have taught Typhlosion Earthquake at this point, but that's okay. Fire Punch still packs quite a wallop thanks to Onix's weak special defense. But Onix has another tool that can be a pain. Sandstorm. Every type that isn't rock, ground, or steel will receive chip damage at the end of the turn, and Sandstorm stays on the field for the next 5 turns. On the upside, Bruno's remaining Pokemon will also receive chip damage as well. On the downside, one of those Pokemon is Machamp that knows Rock Slide. We can take the attack, but we won't have enough health to take out his last 2 Pokemon, which is more of a problem with Hitmonchan, as it has priority with Mach Punch. If we're in the red, that will most likely take us out. This one does take me a couple of attempts, but it wasn't as bad as someone like Claire. Once we pass Bruno, we now have to defeat Karen. The only issue is Umbreon, solely because of Sand Attack. If Sand Attack hits, accuracy is lowered, plus it can confuse us. But if we can get past those 2 things, we can one-shot the remaining members of Karen's team. It was at this time where I switched out Dig for Earthquake. With our PP mostly restored and health recovered, it is time to face off against the champion, Lance. Gyarados is easy enough. Thanks to his quad weakness to Electric, Thunder Punch is an easy one-shot. There's even a chance Aerodactyl can be one-shot by Thunder Punch as well. We will need to go down in 1 attack to make sure we're at full health for the upcoming Dragonites. And this is where I'm going to need things to play out a certain way. First, I need Thunder Wave to miss me once or twice. If I'm paralyzed, Lance's team will outspeed me, and I can't take too many attacks. I then gotta pray to Arceus that Thunder Punch crits or paralyzes his dragons. The less opportunities it has to paralyze me, the better. Once paralyzed, I switched my attack for Headbutt for the flinch chance. On this run, Thunder Wave managed to miss me 4 times. That's nothing short of a Poke Miracle. Thanks to avoiding paralysis, this battle becomes a bit easier. I just need to hope I have enough HP to take out its final Dragonite. It's at this point Lance will start popping full restores if Dragonite's health gets too low. Besides that, it can use Safeguard to protect itself from status. If that happens, I resort to Headbutt, as Safeguard does not protect them from flinches. After a good handful of attempts, we finally defeat Lance and become the new Pokemon League champion. Time, 3 hours, 32 minutes. Not bad. But of course, we're not done yet. It is time to revisit the land of Canto to obtain those badges. This part of the game goes by much faster. We're pretty much done all the story stuff at this point. We only have a minor detour with a rocket grunt stealing machine part that causes a power outage, but that doesn't take me more than 10 or 15 minutes to complete. Once we accomplish that, it's gym battle after gym battle for the most part. Most of the gym leaders aren't worth talking about. They only have 3 to 5 Pokemon, and they're around the same level as the Elite Four. By this point, our level is so high, we can one-shot most of their teams. I do grab the leftovers, but I don't use them until I battle Blue. After all, the game likes to remind me after every turn that I recovered health with the leftovers, wasting precious seconds every turn. Leftovers did come in handy somewhat during my battle with Blue. While most of his Pokemon did fall in 1 or 2 attacks, we were able to recover some of the chip damage we took from Rhydon Sandstorm, who lived the first earthquake. But much like with Bruno, the remaining of Blue's Pokemon will take chip damage from Sandstorm as well. This was a double-edged sword when it came to Arcanine, however. It managed to live an earthquake, and thanks to chip damage it took from Sandstorm, brought it down to full restore range. Plus it has priority of extreme speed. It doesn't deal much, but it adds up with the chip damage. Thankfully, the sand subsides around this time, and once the sand is gone, Arcanine was easy pickings along the remaining members of Blue's team. That just leaves one battle left. I gave Typhlosion the last rare candy I had in my bag before the battle. I also replaced Headbutt and Earthquake with Sunny Day and Dynamic Punch. I'll explain why in a minute, but first thing I do once the battle starts is set up the Sun. Then, I need to hope that either Thunder or Charm, a move that lowers our attack by 2 stages, misses. If I get hit with Thunder, I can recover some of the damage lost with leftovers, but I need all the health I can get for his remaining Pokemon. If I get Charmed, it's a reset. On the upside, Pikachu can't one-shot me, despite being 15 levels higher, and it goes down with 1 Flamethrower. Out next will be Espeon. Now I'm faced with 2 not-so-ideal situations. I can either get attacked, or Espeon can set up Reflect to help its teammates. I'm kind of in a pick-your-poison situation. Here, I get attacked, which means Espeon's teammates will not be protected from physical attacks. Espeon itself is 2-shot by Flamethrower. That brings us to Blastoise, and why I set up the Sun. Sunny Day raises the attack power of Fire-type attacks by 50%, while lowering Water types by set amount. I use Thunder Punch here, and Blastoise will always block the Sun by using Rain Dance, which has the opposite effect of Sunny Day, while making Electric-type moves 100% accurate. On my next turn, I bring Mr. Sun back out, and Blastoise uses Surf. Even with the reduction, it still hits pretty hard. Now Thunder Punch has to paralyze or crit Blastoise, as I will not live a second Surf. Here, it crits, taking it out. 4-fouled Snorlax. This is why I taught Typhlosion Dynamic Miss. I really need it to land this time though. If it lands, we are guaranteed confusion. We also need Snorlax to hit itself, or Body Slam will finish us off with our remaining health. If Snorlax hits itself, we can finish it off with a Sun-boosted Flamethrower. Charizard's turn. We need a crit to one-shot. That doesn't happen here. A Sun-boosted Flamethrower on us does good damage, and we are just hanging on at this point. A second Thunder Punch finishes the job, and that just leaves Venusaur. The sun has faded at this point, and because of that, Venusaur lives Flamethrower, but it goes for Solar Beam, a 2-turn charging move. That means it's open to 1 more attack, and 1 more attack is all we need to get the win. And you know what that means? We have just defeated Pokemon Crystal only using a Typhlosion in battle. Final time, 4 hours, 46 minutes. Okay, still no world record, but this one was definitely a lot easier in comparison to Meganium. Thanks to Typhlosion's move pool and fewer weaknesses, I didn't find myself having to heal nearly as often. And the only battles that really gave me problems were Claire's, Lance's, and Red's. Claire and Lance because of their typing, and Red simply because we're a few levels weaker in comparison to his team. The level gap only really hurt us when we came up against Blastoise for the most part, because if we were a few levels higher, I feel like we'd be able to take a couple of surfs, if we're in the sun that is, of course. Yeah, we were frailer, but we also hit a lot harder than Meganium did. But my goal was to defeat Red at the time of 3.5 hours, which is the current Crystal World Record, and we are still well above that. But next time, we will see how Feraligatr holds up. Subscribe to get notified when that video comes out, hit that like button if you enjoyed this one, and if you have any suggestions for future videos, put those in the comments below. Links to my socials and my Patreon are in the description, and with all that being said, it is time to put the Game Boy down. But don't you worry, I will see you all very soon. Bye.